Good morning. My name's John. I got off social media a week ago. I got away from Facebook and Instagram because I couldn't handle what was being posted about COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Not the actual statistics, but the things coming from people that I know, love, and respect, and have always known to have a good dose of cynicism and questioning and able to use rational and logical thought and react based upon information instead of react upon mass hysteria. I couldn't take it. I had to get away from it. Over the past week, I've come to realize that that was not the right thing to do. If we don't start speaking out against this overreaction and overreach of control from our local, state, and federal government, I don't know where it will end or when it will end, and it must end. So I'm coming back today with this little video because I want those that are out there that want to speak out against this hysteria to know that they can, and they should. Yes, there will be social backlash. People on social media will hate you for it, and I don't understand why, other than just buying into the fear. But I wanted to give some information today, just straight up numbers and statistics instead of presenting worst case facts and fabricated or misleading numbers. So let's get started with this first one. This is active cases. Okay, and let's look at both of these. The whole term liars never figure, or figures never lie, but liars figure. This is a really good example of that. If you look at this, you see, 15% death rate, but that's inaccurate. That number doesn't mean anything. Now, they derived that number from dividing this by this and multiplying it by 100. Basic percentage, right? So their math is right, their data is wrong. This is recovered and discharged cases and has no relation to deaths. So this number is useless, but it gets you a really big death rate, and that's how you scare people. This number is valuable. This is total number of cases or active cases. This is in mild condition, and this is serious or critical. Now that's meaning needing to be hospitalized. So of the 304,949 cases, 13,267, or roughly 4%, needed to be hospitalized. That's not that bad. That is a really low number. That's comparable to pretty much all other viruses. And of that, quite a few people probably shouldn't have went to the hospital, but did anyway. That's just one of the ways media does what they do. They'll give you hard numbers, They'll give you 13,267 people are in critical condition. But if 4% of the people that get the virus need to be hospitalized, the hard number doesn't matter. It's the percentage. Of the 350 billion people that are in this great country, 13,267 is not that great a number. Also, really important is that 96% of people are in mild condition, still functioning, don't need to go to the hospital, just need to quarantine, need to stay away from people, need to practice social distancing. Let's look at this. This is a good number as well. Total number of cases and deaths from coronavirus in the United States as of March 24th. 44,183 confirmed cases, 544 deaths. Right? Now they're going to present it as 544 deaths. That's all they're going to tell you, 544 deaths. And that sounds terrible, right? And it is. Damn, nobody wants anybody to die. 544 deaths is terrible. But we must be rational. We must think about this logically and look at the big picture. 544 over 44,183. That's 1.2%. That's a 1.2% death rate. That is much, much lower than the worst case scenario of 3 to 5% that the media was screaming at us 2 weeks ago. Surprisingly, they reported a worst case scenario and it didn't come true. It never does. Because anytime you're dealing with percentages and averages, you throw out the high and you throw out the low, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. But they don't present it that way. They present you with worst case and tell you that it's fact, and it's not. And we need to start realizing that. We need to stop the fear. I get a lot of times when I talk like this, people saying, what about your young girls, John? What would you do if they got it? Statistically, I'm not concerned with them getting it at all. My daughters are 4 and 2. 0 to 9 years old show no fatalities. Work up this list. Now, this is fatality rate by age. You don't even hit 1% until you get into the 50-year-old range. This number is scary. There's no doubt about that. That is extremely scary. But at 80 plus years old, the common cold has a good chance of killing you. Falling has a good chance of killing you. You are at the end of your life expectancy, and that is damn sad, and I hate to be harsh, but it is the way it is. That is the life expectancy of humans at this point in our history. Now, the question is everything we're destroying worth the slowdown of this virus, or preventing it from reaching that 80 plus year old group, or let's say the 59 plus? Once you get above that 3.6%, 60 to 69 year old. I'm sorry, I'll turn that back on. Is what we are spending to avoid this virus worth it? To me, it's not. I don't see how we can shut down businesses and shut down livelihoods and take food off of the table of hardworking Americans based on these numbers. It's not right. And it needs to be stopped. And we need to stop the mass hysteria, and we need to stop people playing on heartstring emotions with false and straw man arguments. Going back to the 70 to 79 year olds, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Mr. Dan Patrick, said this on Tucker Carlson the other night. No one reached out to me and said, as a senior citizen, are you willing to take a chance on your survival in exchange for keeping the America that all America loves for your children and grandchildren? And if that's the exchange, I am all in. My message is, let's get back to work. Let's get back to living. Let's be smart about it, and those of us who are 70 plus will take care of ourselves. Thank you, Mr. Patrick, for being a true American. That's one of the best statements I've ever heard. And he was bashed for it, because he doesn't care about the elderly and the seniors, and that's bullshit. It's a bad argument. It's a wrong argument. You have to look at things rationally. You cannot approach everything emotionally. You become a slave to it. I like this. I understand the flu and coronavirus are two totally different things. This is a statement Although infectious diseases are no longer the most common cause of death, pneumonia, influenza, and septicemia remain among the top 10 causes of death. They were responsible for 5.5%, or 95,640 deaths of people 65 years of age and older in 1997. But I don't guess we cared in 1997. Or it could be that they were actually reporting percentages instead of hard numbers. 5.5% of people 65 years and older died of pneumonia and flu related illnesses in 1997. This is nothing new. We're not dealing with anything new or special or spectacular. It's a virus that our bodies have not been exposed to, and we're having trouble with our own immune systems learning to fight it. But our immune systems are learning to fight it. That's how we do this. We've been dealing with coronaviruses for years and years and years. Most times that we get a common cold, it is a version of the coronavirus. This is just a new strain that we are going to have to learn to deal with. Shutting down the economy, stealing the retirement of the elderly people we are trying to save, destroying small businesses, destroying livelihoods. That's not the way to do it. That's not the way we fight a virus, and it's wrong. The government does not have the authority to do that. Yes, I know under law that during times of a national emergency or a pandemic, they give themselves expansional rights to control us, to do what they need to do, and that's what we have to start speaking out against, because they do not have the authority to tell you you cannot leave your house. They do not have the authority to tell the small business owner that he has to shut his doors and lock his doors and go out of business. They do not have that authority. They do not have that right. I know I'm not the only person that thinks this way, because I talk to people that feel this way every single day. And they're scared. They're scared to say it. They're scared to talk about it. They're scared to post it on Facebook and Instagram because of the social media warriors coming after them. And we have to stop being scared. We need to start being vocal. We need to tell our state, city, and federal, we need to tell the government it's time to stop. We've done enough. We've done enough. Social distancing, wash your hands, don't gather in groups more than 10, follow the CDC guidelines and leave it at that. Don't shut cities down. What do you think the suicide rate is going to show for this month of isolation? Do you not think there are people out there killing themselves because they can't get out of their homes? Their depression is overwhelming and we're making it worse. What about the people who lost everything in the stock market in a matter of a week? What about the elderly people that were looking forward to retiring at the end of the year, and now they can't because their 401ks have turned to shit because of this mass hysteria? I'm sorry, I know this is a rant, but we have to draw a line in the sand. We have to say enough is enough. The numbers are there. The statistics are there. This is not the end of the world the media wants you to believe it is. And straw man arguments, emotional arguments, have to stop. I urge you, if you feel the way that I do, if you think the way that I do about this virus and about our government's reaction to it, please be vocal. Take to social media, take to Instagram, talk to your neighbors, talk to the people you come in contact with. It's not that bad. It's not as deadly as they'd have you believe. We need to be vocal. We need to push back. We need to stop this overreaction that is destroying our country and costing the livelihoods of thousands and thousands and thousands of Americans. Thank you.